Hey guys, Werner here, aka the Pretoria Shadows. I'm back. I know it's been a fuck long time since I have done anything on my YouTube channel. I'm not here to make excuses. You just know that I had some life shit that I had to take care of. But I'm back. And the first thing that I'm gonna show you is my new scar. Now, that scar ties in quite well with the topic I have for you today. The topic is mosh pit etiquette. Now, I know some of you, a lot of you understand how mosh pits work and how you are supposed to approach a mosh pit and what you're supposed to do in a mosh pit and what you're not supposed to do in a mosh pit. But I have recently come to the conclusion that there are still some of you who do not know what the fuck to do in a pit. Yes, I know you've all seen 1,000 videos on mosh pit etiquette, and I know there's 1,000 videos out there, and probably one of the best videos I've seen on mosh pit etiquette, live concerts and stage diving is Killbot and Gore Attacks, a rendition of it. Brother, that's a fucking awesome video. Keep up the good work if you're watching this. But basically, the mosh pit education or mosh pit etiquette goes like this. Point number one. It's not a place for slam dance. So don't run into the pit like this with your hands fucking in front of yourself and expect not to get hurt. Because people who are there to mosh, people who are there just to get a bit of frustration out, they will fucking knock your ass out. That's point number one. So look at your surroundings, be aware of how the pit is escalating. If you want to slam dance, for the slammers, please move out of the pit and slam dance beside the crowd or whatever. Do not bring that shit into the pit, because I'm not saying that you're gonna get hurt or I'm gonna get hurt, but someone is gonna get hurt if you do slam, because the people who usually mosh do not want slammers in the pit. If you're a slammer, respect the pit. Move outside the pit to do your slam dance, but please do not ruin the pit by fucking walking arms first into the pit. Or kicking and screaming or whatever you slammers do. Second thing, and this is kind of an important one, girls in the pit. If there are girls in the pit, do not go hard. Do not go as hard as you can, because yes, some chicks are more resilient than others, some can take more of a beating, but it's still a chick, dude. You can still hurt them. I mean, some of them are smaller and are a bit more fragile. So when you're in the pit and you see there's a woman out there, please just be respectful. Don't shove. Well, you can shove her, but don't hit her, don't body slam her or whatever. Just be respectful, push her away, mosh just gently around her. I'm not saying don't mosh like a fucking child, like she's a piece of glass. No, I'm just saying be more respectful to her. That's it. If someone falls in the pit, now this is something that I have seen people do a lot. Yes, there are people who actually stop and who actually will pick your ass up and mosh further, but this is most people. If you fall down, someone is gonna pick your ass up and you're gonna mosh further. It's kind of an unspoken thing. We do it to our brothers and we expect our brothers and sisters to do the same for us. That's how it works in the metal community. But I have seen people get trampled. I have seen people seriously get hurt, get scars and stuff in the pit while they fell down. If someone falls down, get to them quick. If not you, someone else will try and do it, but get that person at least on his feet. But if someone gets hurt in the pit, like someone gets trampled and there is some blood or some stitching that needs to be done, remove that person from the pit, take him to the proper authorities and get back to it. Do not just fucking leave the person there. That's shit etiquette. That's actually showing shit hospitality. I mean, yes, we're metalheads, but we're also ambassadors for humankind, and we do not want to see anyone hurt themselves. That is a fact. Wall of death. if you're in the wall of death, you're gonna get hurt. I mean, it's like that. If you're in the wall of death and you're standing in the middle of it, odds are you're gonna get hurt. So if you don't want to get hurt in a pit or in the wall of death, just don't enter the pit. Don't stand in the wall of death. But the wall of death is also a very good place to release some anger. And for the younger metalheads and for the metalheads out there who are not necessarily prone to this sort of thing or hasn't really seen how this happens, the wall of death is when a vocalist usually calls for the crowd to be split in half, and then they wait for the cue, and then they smash and start moshing. Yes, pits can be violent, pits can be brutal. So, another thing that you should do, and this is also a very good point that Killbot and Gorgor Attack pointed out when I was busy researching this, and I was busy doing watching his show about it, because this has happened to me before. Shoes. Wear comfortable shoes. Actually tie them up quite tight. Otherwise you're gonna get moshed out of your shoes. It happened to me 4 months ago when I was watching the Die Artist Murder show. I got moshed out of my shoes like 4 times, but luckily the people there were good enough and they saw what happened, so I got my shoes back, I put them on, moshed further. If that happens, get your stuff as quick as possible, get your shoe back as quick as possible, get it on your foot. If you have to tie it up or something, just leave the pit, go to the side, tie up your shoe and get back into it. But if you don't want that to happen, I suggest wearing proper shoes, something that you can tie a knot or even double knot. Okay, this is my last and most important thing in a pit. Entering a mosh pit. A mosh pit is a place to relieve frustration. Now, I showed you my scar earlier. This happened at a metal gig. Sorted, one of our local SA groove bands. They're really fucking good. They're trying to break into the international market. You guys can check it out. It's Sorted with a P, not an S. Well, it does have an S, but it's just not the S. It's PSORDID. They are from Johannesburg in South Africa. Really fucking good thrash metal. Well, groove metal. It's got, obviously groove metal is post-thrash, but there's elements of metalcore, elements of death metal, so it's kind of around the spectrum, and I like it. But basically I bought myself a beer, and I was standing at the side. Well, I was putting my beer down. I just bought a CD, so I put the CD down on stage because I wanted to watch the band and headbang a little, and I guess I was standing too close to the pit. Well, it started the pit basically, but I wasn't happy about it. But this guy came and he blindsided me, but he hit me like way too hard. He almost knocked me out, but that's fine. And then I see blood. The next thing I see is blood. That's how I got the scar. 5 minutes later, I was already outside with the first aiders and everything that patched me up real good, whatever. So pits are a place of danger. You do actually get hurt. You do get scars. But the point that I want to bring out is that if it happens in the pit, it stays in the pit. I mean, I actually got a bit angry with the kid, and I do apologize. But what the band told me and what I learned from that experience is actually pretty good, and it's a pretty good thing. If you get hurt in the pit, it's part of it. Don't get angry because you get hurt in the pit. Why else are you in the fucking pit? I was actually on the side of the pit trying to get out of it, and this guy blindsided me, so I was a bit angry, of course. But it's not gonna help you to get angry. If you're angry in the pit of somebody hurting you, stand back, watch the band a bit, cool off, maybe go get a beer or something, then come back to the band. Don't start an unnecessary fight. It's not the place for it. Yes, it's a place to relieve frustration, but we do not want pits to start fights. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of videos out there of even like big lead singers, international lead singers, like the guy from Carnifex, even Bruce Dickinson did it, Tom Araya did it, even Dave Grohl, and I'm not a guy that listens to rock that often, but they actually stopped shows for people going too rowdy. If you want your ass get thrown out of a set, get thrown out of a live set, or get thrown out of a venue, be a cunt and start a fight in the pit. You're gonna get kicked out. It's not a place for fights. As a matter of fact, a concert is not a place for fights. Which brings me to my next point, disrespecting people in the pit. Do not disrespect people in the pit, because you're gonna get trampled, man. I mean, you want us to respect you while you're at a show, so don't be a fucking cunt and pull everyone into the pit or start screaming and kicking or whatever in the pit. Don't be a fucking asshole, you're gonna get burned. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about mosh pit etiquette. I decided to do recommendations. I don't want to trample on anyone's album that much. I don't want to trample and say anything negative, because I want positivity to be on my channel. So I've actually got 2 recommendations for you this week. I'm going to try and get 1 or 2 recommendations while these videos are coming out. This was a bit of a rant video on mosh pit etiquette, but please guys, just keep in mind that you're not the only one in the pit. Be respectful to each other. Have fun, release some frustration, don't slam dance in the pit, don't cause unnecessary fights, and don't be a cunt. I've got 2 recommendations for you guys today. The first one is a Pretoria based band, which is where I'm from. These guys are on another level. I mean, if these guys don't make it internationally and they are on that level, I mean, this is something beyond that I've ever heard in my own country, and we do have some proper death metal here. It's called Insidious Rain. I don't know if you can see the front cover. Let me just see. Oops, upside down. No, it was right. Cool. Come now. Insidious Rain with Fictitious Obsessions. Brilliant death metal, tech death, borders on grind. Fucking brilliant stuff. Brutal as fuck. I saw these guys recently, and I know a lot of you were there, but I saw these guys recently open for Cattle Decapitation. And good God, they had a fucking performance and a half. So these guys are one to watch out for. Insidious Rain with their EP. I think it's an EP, it's like 6 songs, so it cannot be anything other than an EP, called Fictitious Obsessions. Now the next one is not that heavy. We're bordering back to traditional heavy metal, thrash metal, power metal kind of stuff, and this is one of the better albums I've heard in the genre, well, especially from our country. And this band, they are consisting of older gentlemen, and these guys have experience behind them, and it really shows with this album. It really shows that these guys can craft some good songs. And I'm talking about the one band called Deadline. Album is called Black Wolf City. I don't know if you can see it. My camera is glaring in the freaking jewel case. Let me take it out so you can see it properly. Deadline with Black Wolf City. If you're into more of the accept, like Municipal Waste, there's even some Iron Maiden influences in there, some really good stuff. So I highly recommend you guys check out Deadline with Black Hole City and Insidious Rain with Fictitious Obsessions. So guys, no matter where you are, keep on listening to good metal. I hope you like the new format, and be safe.